Mic check. Okay, hello everyone. We're about to begin our AMA session, so we're waiting for more people to join us in this voice channel. So yeah, please give us an information if you're here and if you can hear my voice. There is a chat box for this voice channel. Yeah, nice. Well, I have plenty of OG users, and I see some new names here. Nice, hello. Welcome. Now it's nobody speaking right now. We're waiting for more people to join, or we are free to actually proceed, because there are plenty of people in the voice chat from what I see right now. Some OGs, some new faces, so yeah, it's actually good. Well, in case there are some new people who are not familiar with what are we actually doing right now, it's a pre-AMA session. I mean, we had prepared questions from the community, and we had a voting for the questions to answer, and prioritized it to the top 10. Actually, we will have like 30 minutes time frame for this AMA session, and top 10 questions will be covered in any case. If there will be more time for Keith and Manfred, to answer some more questions, well, we'll see. So, Keith and Manfred, are you ready to proceed to the questions? Or you want to make some, introduction of yourself?
Yeah, we could do introductions. Hi, everybody. I'm Keith McCullough. I'm the kind of lead designer on the working man side. I'm working Keith here on Discord. You see me post patch notes and occasionally answer questions and stuff. So, yeah, hi.
So yeah, hey everyone, I'm Manfred, as you can tell. I'm the project lead on Dalarnia. I'm less active on Discord than Keith is, but I think Keith does a good job, the rest of the team does a good job, so I don't have to be here all the time. But I'm reading quite a lot on Discord, so I'm happy to meet you guys today and have this AMA session with you guys.
And we're happy as well, I suppose. At least me for sure. So, are you ready to proceed to the first question?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. And the first one will be, is there a plan to diversify rewards for digging, for example, by adding a chance to receive unique equipment or resources?
Yeah, let's get this started. I think in general, we are discussing this quite a bit every now and then in the team. For now, we are very much focusing on adding new features, new ways in how people play the game, new game modes, objectives to Mines of Dalarnia. And I think, at least for the foreseeable future, unique equipment or even resources will be tied to events like we had before. But I think it's fair to say that we will look into improving the structure of those events, and maybe that will include finding unique rewards within a mining session during an event. But yeah, that's nothing I can promise for short term. But for sure, we will keep it in mind, and it will be part of our ongoing discussions on how to improve the game.
Yeah, I think we all agree that it'd be great for players to have a way to earn rare drops and have some more like unique loot kind of stuff in the game. There are some technical and legal hurdles involved with that. We can't have like loot boxes or something. So like we have some plans that we've been exploring for ways we could do this tied to competition systems or events. It's not going to be right away though. For now, we're going to focus, just like Manfred said, on adding more content to the game, kind of more horizontal stuff, more ways to use resources that we have, and I think that kind of will play to the economy and stuff before we get there. But I think everyone's on the same boat that like it'd be awesome to get rare drop unique equipment occasionally, and any way we could do that that's technical and also allowed globally and stuff is something that we want to explore.
Well, yeah, sounds cool. So a little follow-up, so we can actually expect something, some permanent equipment, or maybe some unique holos, or even some unique consumables, right?
Well, like I said, we're looking into it. That's not the top priority. I think it's something the team is interested in doing. I think it's something that we all want to add, but the path isn't super clear, and it's not like on the short-term roadmap. More just that we hear the interest.
Yeah, but to be honest, we also pay close attention to what our players are enjoying, like to the best we can. And if we do something with unique and rare holos or equipment that is tied to events or any special way to get that reward, and we feel like the community is enjoying it and they have fun going there, it for sure will become something that we will have on our list all the time. Like, it really depends on what we think the game needs, but also what we see that our players enjoy.
Yeah, and definitely I want to mention that it's heard that people want things that aren't just holos, that have mechanical impact or at least are a little different and interesting. We've got that message for sure, so looking into what that could be as well.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks for reply. And yeah, let's proceed to the second one, a tricky one, of course. So the question number 2, when can we expect to see significant updates to the game's economy?
Yeah, let me maybe get started here. First of all, what do you mean by the second one is the tricky one? Going through the list, I felt like everyone's a tricky one. But in general, you're talking about the economy, this is such a big topic because there goes so much into this. What I can say from my perspective at the moment, from our perspective, what we are very focused on at the moment are 2 distinct things. First of all, improve the economy that we have. And this is very closely tied to resources, resource utilities, and especially recurrent utilities for resources. We know that we need more of those. We know that we have to increase the chances and features of what people can do with resources, and we are working on it. I think you will see that with every upcoming major update that resources will be used in a multitude of ways moving forward, not only for crafting equipment and replenishing land. The second topic here is on a more high level, which economy roles do we have in the place and what can our players focus on? Some will stay focused on, grinding for resources, selling them on the decks. But moving forward, if you take a look at our roadmap, the next big update after 1.2, we will introduce competitions and tournaments. And this will open up a whole new path for players to participate in the economy because all of a sudden you can also try to focus on competitions. And this is the role you have in Mines of Dalarnia and the thing you enjoy the most about Mines of Dalarnia. So just to sum it up, because I could go on forever about this topic, I feel like the more objectives, the more roles we create in the game that people can find and pleasure in and still participate in the economy, the better for Mines of Dalarnia, and we will continue adding that to the game. I think that sums up my thoughts about this.
Yeah, economy is such a big word, and there's so many ways to address it. Totally what Manfred said. Obviously, I think everyone agrees that resource sinks is really important and something that we have to expand throughout the game. It has to be done carefully because a resource sink that directly translates into more ROI isn't actually a resource sink. So it has to have more value to it, more interesting things, more other features that it's supporting. So that's something that we've all been trying to design around. One thing I just want to mention though about economy that maybe people don't think about as much as an economy thing is onboarding new players, bringing in new players, improving onboarding and reducing barriers to join the game to get new people into the game is an economy booster. Having a player base that isn't primarily lots of people who are near or at the top, having more people coming and going and creating low-end craftables and consuming things and digging on lands will also help the economy. So features that don't directly appear to be economy related, some of them actually are, and we do think that making sure the game's accessible and getting it out there to more people is part of the game economy plan.
Well, not. I don't think I have to add something here. I just have some feedback from one of our OGs. Well, he said that tournaments, PvP and PvE will most definitely give a significant boost to the economy, and I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it'll give more utility for items and stuff, and then we can have, well, yeah, I can't talk too much about that feature, but we'll hear about it soon because that's the primary thing for 1.3. One last other comment is we do have a full-time dedicated economist who's joined the team. I know that is discussed a little later, but they are going to be weighing in a lot too, and I think they will be a huge asset for us balancing things in the future.
Yes.
Great. So yeah, let's proceed to the question number 3, and it's pretty long. Many players have noticed the potential for both PvP and PvE modes based on presence of certain perks in equipment. The desire for the game to be more of a strategy game than just a straight game is understandable, as players derive pleasure from using their intelligence. Are there plans to implement detailed strategy games on the blockchain, or we will have to wait for the Chromia transition? And is the current progression toward this goal considered slow?
Okay, long question.
Yeah.
Again, lots to unpack here, but I like the question. Maybe the first thing in regards to what we can do currently with the setup that we have being on BNB chain. We are certainly looking into the issues when it comes to gas fees and how we set up the game and new features that we design. So this is always something that we have to deal with to still keep the whole experience enjoyable for the community and not have like exploding gas fees for everyone. That being said, once Chromia mainnet is ready and we can make the jump, this will allow us to do a lot more on the chain. This will allow us to create whole new features that we are right now putting into our backlog, simply because we cannot do them at the moment without significant, reworks for the whole game. About the strategy part question here in PvP and PvE. So I have to disappoint you guys. Like, there's no strategy game being prepared at the moment for Mines of Dalarnia. But what we are doing for sure is including performance-based game modes with the competitions and tournaments. Like now we have game modes in place and opportunities to reward people based on their skills with the game. Beginning, it's like during mining runs. Later on, who knows? Once we have the option to look into this, coming up with interesting ideas that are more on a strategic or tactical level for the game, we will for sure look into this. I think it's going to be important.
Yeah, totally, Manfred. Using, I guess by way of strategy, I think, meaning that like it matters more what equipment you're using and what your loadout is and like what decisions you're making before and in a run. Mines of Dalarnia right now is very much about, power level and grinding and having features that are more specific to what your loadout is. Certainly any kind of competitive thing immediately will do that, right? Because if other people have certain equipment or are doing certain strategies you have to counter, you get a bit of a meta developing. And then also having, some very hard content in the game that requires you to be build a certain way to complete. These are definitely goals. The current RPG systems in the game exist, and there are better and worse things, but they're not as fully realized as we'd like. And I think growing that so that equipment is more meaningful is kind of like how we're approaching strategy. I'm not sure if that's exactly what the question meant, but that's kind of, I think, how I see it, at least.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's, yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, there is not much I can comment on this one, because the next question will be actually the follow-up to this, huge topic. So I will just proceed to the next one. How will the transitions to the Chromia blockchain occur, and what preparations are being made for this, and how long it is expected to take?
Okay, that's the natural follow-up question here. The answer to this is two parts. We cannot foresee when exactly the transition is going to happen. We are in close touch with the Chromia team. All of us saw the Mark II testnet announcement, and we are happy about that. And at the moment, we are talking to Chromia to see what's the best timing for us to move on testnet with them, to see how it works, and then be prepared for mainnet migration once Chromia is ready. But unfortunately, I cannot announce a date for that at the moment. We need to see how well it works with the Chromia team. Yeah, I think that's it from my side.
Yeah, nothing to add. Yep.
If Kit have any comments on that?
No, I think Manfred covered that one.
Well, yeah, okay. I think, yeah, the topic been covered pretty good. So, yeah, maybe let's proceed to the next one. What are your thoughts on the new economist who recently joined your team, and what are they working on?
Okay. First of all, the new economist is also with us today. His name is David, and I'm so glad he's with us. Like, actually, I wish he would have been with us before we even started developing Mines of Dalarnia. Like, he's doing a great job, and we are quite happy to have him. He himself has lots of experience from traditional gaming, but also Web3. I think it's fair to say that he's been around for, I don't know, like more than 10 years as a game economy designer and game designer, including like, you know, companies like EA, which is huge. Don't have to explain you. At the moment, what he's focusing on is getting a proper overview about how our game economy works in detail, which includes like deconstructing our whole economy, but then understanding what is happening depending on, you know, player role, player seniority, land setup, to really understand and make proper calls regarding supply and demand of our resources, always keeping profitability in mind for all of our players. This takes some time. He made great progress on that, and in addition to that, he's also focusing on helping us, you know, designing the next features properly, which includes stuff that you will see with 1.2 and then 1.3. So in regards to resource use cases, reward distributions and calculations, all that kind of stuff, David has his hands in everything and is helping us tremendously to make the right calls here.
Yeah, sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, totally. David's great. He's been spending a lot of time just digging in and understanding the whole system. A lot to show up into, millions of spreadsheets and everything, but he's got awesome insights, and I think we'll really start feeling his contributions over the coming months as we make adjustments and add new features, and kind of like find ways to take what we have and leverage it better and improve the economy, and as well as making sure upcoming and new things are tightly balanced and integrated into the whole system more carefully.
Yeah, great. And we're also very happy to, you know, for David to join our team and this project. And I think we're looking forward to, you know, all the economy updates in the future. So yeah, let's proceed to the next one. Can you provide information on the development team's priority list?
Yes, sure. So a bit more high level here, but I think, like, broadly speaking, what we are focusing on are a couple of big topics. So first of all, we want to create new ways in which people enjoy playing Mines of Dalarnia and in which people can participate in the game economy. This is something that I touched upon before. And tournaments and competitions, for example, will allow us to do so. We also want to improve the onboarding for new players. Very important for us. The upcoming 1.2 update in parts sets the base for that, and we will improve that moving forward as well. We are focusing a lot on, you know, security on the backend side, just to make sure that we are in a good spot once we launch the first competitions and tournaments. And overall, I think something that we are also discussing quite a lot actually is like gamify the game a bit more, like give a bit more flavor to the game, flesh out the world, the lore, that, you know, maybe get some NPCs in there here and there. Like, all of these things will come together. And I'm really happy to see the kind of discussions we have in that regard. And I think Minds of Dalarnia will be a way better game by the next update and with every new update we do. And I'm eager to see how the game looks like by end of this year, because there are a lot of cool things we are discussing at the team side.
Yeah, there's a lot of big stuff. I think that the priority list, to focus not just on like all the stuff we want to do, which is lots of stuff, but like the priority list right now, the things we're really prioritizing. Obviously 1.2, a big priority is on onboarding, letting people play this game actually for free. For anyone who hasn't really looked at the announcements and patch notes, in 1.2 you can make an account with no wallet and play the game actually for free. Now you can't do stuff like digs, you have to connect a wallet for that, but you can get in, you can see the satellite, you can go do these salvage runs, which are off-chain digs or off-chain rewards. We're adding more off-chain features, so there's more stuff people can do that don't require transactions and cost gas, and have more things in the game. And that's a big priority. So adding stuff to do that isn't the dig grind loop and doesn't cost gas is a high priority, and that encompasses both new features and onboarding new players. That's very high. And then also finding ways to take the basic content we have, and do more with it, like just what Manfred said, competitions, and stuff like PvP. I want to just mention as a sidebar, we say PvP, and then short term there's no plan to have just an arena where people bonk each other with swords. It doesn't sound like that would be fun gameplay in MOD. PvP more means having multiple players in a multiplayer space all competing to win an objective or a mini game. So I want to clarify that just for people's plans. I'm not saying we'll never do an arena, but we had an early test of that. You can mess with that in the satellite as well, and you'll see that standing next to each other and mashing attack isn't that exciting. Other stuff is planned. But yeah, I think those are the priorities right now. Big picture, we want to do everything better. We want to add lots of stuff. But the short term, it's, more objectives, getting people into the game more easily, and having more stuff just to do that isn't the dig grind loop, I think would be really healthy for the game.
Yeah, I think that sums it up perfectly. Give people, just have them have more fun with the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to, the whole game does not have to rely solely on resource grinding and the trading that occurs with that. But maybe you just want to spend some time in the game and have some fun and meet people and play something that is enjoyable. And we should give you the option to do so. After all, we are still a game, and it is something that is important for us.
And that's good too, because if people are spending time in MOD but not generating resources, there is benefits to that. They will consume resources without creating more of them, and also that'll slowly onboard them to wanting to create resources and do digs and stuff. So I think it'll be good for every aspect of the game to have a larger, more active population just doing stuff in general.
Absolutely. Especially also with upcoming multiplayer features. The bigger the community, the more engaged our community, the better for every single player, I think.
Yeah. Oh, and also the satellite, part of it, that community aspect too, is kind of giving the game a little more of an MMO vibe. It's not a real MMO in a really sense, but the satellite and having people be in a shared space together and seeing other players will help us step into other things like competitions and PvP, and just give the game a feeling like you're part of this world, this crazy space mining community, and not entirely siloed into either the mine or the menu.
Well, this is really great. I didn't even expect that such, a tiny question can be answered in such a huge manner. And by the way, I wanted to ask our audience, where are you everyone from? Please feel free to type your country in the general chat of this AMA channel. And while our audience, mentioning where they're from, I want to make some follow-up, because your reply was really curious for me, especially as a gamer with such big experience. if I understand you right, Manfred, you've been mentioned some, maybe adding some NPCs. So we may expect some more like RPG elements, something like the Hollow Knight game or something like that.
Oh, well, NPCs do not necessarily mean more RPG elements. I don't want to raise wrong expectations here, but having some sort, of small story campaigns in the game, where you can just follow a path and explore a story or part of the game or the world and the universe we are creating, or simply having some NPCs that, give you quests or give you rewards here and there, where the game feels more like a living, breathing thing, and not everything is tied to menus and that kind of stuff. I think also these small things add a lot of flavor to a game, and from my perspective, and I'm a long-time gamer as well, obviously, I enjoy these things. I like that about games. I mean, I'm one of the guys who likes stories and fighting games, so hey, here we go. Stories and fighting games. That's me.
I also like stories and fighting. I used to be overly invested in the Tekken plot. It's incoherent, but yes. The Hollow Knight, that's a scary bar to try to raise. But like what Manfred said, having little narrative campaigns that have rewards at the end that give you something to do is something that is on the roadmap. It's not that close. Prior to that, though, I mean, even smaller things like having some in-world characters who you interact with to launch queues and stuff. I mean, if you think about Destiny, for example, or many MMOs actually, a lot of your stuff comes from characters and not from the menu. And even that's sort of a small thing, it really changes the way the game feels. So I think that's kind of where we'd start, and then grow from there.
Yeah, I agree, actually, because adding some NPCs with the storyline, some tiny pieces like we have in a Soul series game, some lore pieces, it will be really cool to expand this Mind of Dalarnia world we have right now.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think it was more than enough, so yeah, let's proceed to the next one. So, it will be question number 7. Are there plans to increase the maximum number of excavation purchases from 10 to 20 or even more? This would reduce commission fees and make the game more attractive to play.
Yeah, so sadly not at the moment. There are all kinds of technical reasons why we can't. I'm not going to say it'll never happen, but that's not on our current plan.
Yeah, I think there's not much to add here. In general, like we talked about that before, reducing gas fees in general, looking into our smart contract architecture and how it works right now, and always reviewing and looking into things that could improve the situation is important for us in general. We know that reducing commission fees will result in a more attractive and fun game or better experience for our community, so we're taking this quite seriously. But yeah, unfortunately, there's not much more I can say about that at the moment.
Yeah, it's not that something we don't want to do. We see the need. It's just that particular solution is technically not really going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. So yeah, let's proceed to the next one. Are there any plans to expand the use of resources beyond upgrading equipment or selling on the decks, such as for consumable items, cleaning equipment, or feeding pets?
Short answer, yes. As I said before, we know that with our current setup, we need to have more resource things or resource utilities in the game. This will create a more healthy and sustainable and stable game economy. So I don't think I can add much more to this than the points that have been raised with the question, like all the options that are already in there. All of that sounds fun, and we know we have to work on this. And we work on this. Like, this is the one thing that I can say for sure. We'll see that, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but with the upcoming updates, you will see that adding more resource utilities, recurrent utilities for resources, so that there are proper resource sinks, will be part of pretty much every upcoming big update for the game.
Yeah, this is we sort of mentioned this before for sure, but this is definitely very important. The challenge, like I mentioned, with adding resource sinks is that they can't just be directly tied to calculating ROI if they're quote unquote worth it, or else they just become ways that more resources are generated. So it's a little tricky, but yes, consumables for sure. Other paths that we haven't announced yet. I don't want to go too much into it because it's still being designed, but it's something that in general we're very aware of and need to find more ways to get resources out of the economy.
Noted. Thanks for reply. Yeah, so, well, actually not much I can add here, so yeah, let's proceed to the next one. Are there any plans to implement a system for renting high-tier items? This could potentially increase interest in the game from various player demographics. And follow-up, are there any plans to introduce a rental system for NFTs such as lands?
Okay, yeah. No real plans in terms of having it on our internal roadmap and knowing when it will be live and how it looks like. But for sure we are discussing this and we had discussions about that. Personally, I do think that having something where people can lease out or rent NFTs, whether it's equipment or land, sounds very interesting and intriguing for me. And we need to elaborate that properly. I think it could be of value for Minds of Dalarnia, the game and our community. However, I cannot promise that we ultimately will end up, implementing it. There are a couple of NFTs that from the use case and how intertwined they are with our game economy and how they work and what we still want to do with them can be so complex that we, at the end of the day, might figure out like, hey, having a rent feature for that specific NFT not really helpful for the game and will not benefit our community in any real matter. So then we will make the call and not do it. But are we going to look into this and properly evaluate this option? Yes, for sure. You can bet on that.
Yeah, nothing to add here to what Manfred said.
Yeah, okay. Noted. So yeah, let's proceed to the question number 10. Quote, I'm very excited about the new things planned for the first quarter. Are we on track to release these new features? Can you give me any sneak peeks of these features?
Yeah, so I hope the testnet update for MOD 1.2 was already a nice sneak peek for you, whoever raised the question. And I think moving forward, we want to improve how we introduce you to new features in general, like the communication with the community. That this is part of our focus for this year. So you can expect us to do some more sneak peeks every now and then. But we need to also feel comfortable about what we are creating, about the state of the feature, instead of being, announcing stuff prematurely and then having to backpedal. I don't think that will help us as the developers. It will make you happy as our community. So yeah, but expect sneak peeks every now and then. You will have a proper sneak peek about upcoming stuff.
As far as being on track, for the new features, yes, we're pretty on track. I think you might need to consider April to be part of Q1, but other than that, as long as you make that little imagination shift there, the roadmap is looking really good. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a sorry about this, but I'm going to do a little question skip here because there's one that I think is related to this that we're not probably going to get to, which was a question regarding will more than one feature from the roadmap be released in a single update? It's kind of way down the list, but it's related. And the answer is very much yes. Updates, like Manfred said, are going to be larger. We're doing a big update. The general plan is to do a big update roughly every 2 months. Yeah, there will be smaller updates in the middle that have like, little bug fixes and stuff like that. But the big ones will be bigger content drops instead of these kind of smaller things where we leak things in and sometimes have to modify them. So the next update, for example, 1.2 is in testnet right now, has salvage missions, boosters, multiplayer satellite, and the first section of onboarding improvements. And that's like half of the Q1 roadmap. And you can imagine 1.3 should include most of the other half of the roadmap with a few other things. But like that's kind of how we're approaching updates. So yes, we feel pretty on track. as far as getting content out to you guys and trying to make sure that we're adding all the cool stuff we want on a decent pace.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Git. And actually, see, from what I noticed, we're on our 30 minutes timeline already. So please tell me if you are feeling comfortable to proceed for a couple of more questions.
I can do a few more questions. I'm okay.
Yeah, same here. I still have some time in my hands, so let's move forward.
Okay, so yeah, let's proceed. Can you share your plans for tokens that can be earned through play? Based on the unlocking schedule, there are currently around 80 million tokens designated for this purpose, but only 5 million have been released so far. Listen, an additional 2 million will be released in February for APE Quest. When can we expect to see the rest?
So what we are working on at the moment, pretty much as we are speaking in that regard, is setting up a proper Genesis wallet structure that will allow you guys to follow up on what we promised with our vesting schedule. So you will be able to see the tokens that we planned for in-game rewards in the specific wallet that then will be used to also issue those rewards with the in-game competitions and tournaments we are creating, including APE Quest, but also the upcoming stuff and every new feature that we implement, every new competition and tournament that we do that will issue in-game rewards in forms of DAR. Those DAR will come from that wallet, and once it is set up and it's filled, we will let you guys know. You can look up that we are really doing what we promise. Transparency in that regard and you guys trusting us is very important for us. So yeah, you will be able to see it hopefully very soon. We still need to make some decisions there, but you will see it.
Okay, so yeah, if Git had nothing to add here, we can go to the next one.
Yep, we can go on.
Okay, so what is current assessment of the security and economic conditions in the game and what measures are being taken to improve them? Are there any indication that the frequency of hacking will decrease and strong economy can be established prior to the next market growth?
Yeah, so security is the best it's ever been. We have way more ability to tell what players are doing and ban cheaters reliably. Obviously, we don't talk about it too much because I don't want people to figure out how things are being done. But I think honestly, the problem we've had recently is that we've been a little bit too aggressive and banned some innocent players and had to unban them. A few people in this chat perhaps experienced that. Sorry about that. The balance between trying to understand what people are doing and not hit people who are innocent is important, while also making sure we're not letting bots get away with things or people who are using hacks and stuff. So look, it's always going to be a battle with cheaters. It's an online game and it's a blockchain game. There's always going to be a constant conflict there. But right now we're in a very good place, way better place than we've been at any point in the game's history to be able to ban effectively. That's why we're stepping into having competitions and stuff, because we need to have a decent security state to be able to have that. And some of the features we added to give banning some teeth, like minor level, for example, means that if you are cheating and you get banned, your wallet, you can make a new wallet, but you need to grind up to level 16 or something again. So those features were there on purpose to make banning, to get around the fact that it's blockchain and we can't really stop people from making wallets. So it's something that we have dedicated team members working on. It's always a struggle, but at the point we are right now, we feel quite good. Definitely feeling better than ever when it comes to security.
Yeah, I just want to underline what Keith said. First of all, he explained it perfectly, better than I ever could. But in general, we are aware that fighting against cheats and exploits and hackers and bots and all of that is an ongoing battle for us. People will always try to cheat the game, to cheat the system, to find new ways, and we will always have, in some sense at least, to catch up. So yeah, it will be an ongoing battle. We will stay focused on this aspect. It is important for us. And as long as we are in the state as we are currently, then we are in a very good state, I think.
Yeah, actually, I want to add one thing here, because yeah, this is somehow of escalation, because the better anti-cheat system you produce, the better cheaters begin to appear and such. So yeah, it's kind of endless battle, and I think it's not really possible to win this battle, to remove all the cheaters and exploiters, but to minimize this is this is kind of realistic goal, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. Minimize, make it unprofitable or just very, very annoying and slow, and just so it's something that is just risky, annoying, expensive, and difficult, and maybe they'll just go and try to do this on some other game.
Yeah. Should we really make the miracle happen and defeat cheaters for good, we will write a best-selling book called Minds of Dalarnia, How We Defeated Cheaters for Good. Out now on Amazon or something like that.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, a couple more questions.
Yep, good with me.
Okay, let's go. So, next one. With the cost of fully upgrading gear with the desired perks, will players to be able to retain their preferred perks when upgrading gear in future depths, or will they have to start from scratch each time new depths are released? Example, will we be able to upgrade our current high-end equipment if new one will be released, like we were able to upgrade our Aussie and Silver to Aqua and Ragnarite once?
Okay, so this one's very close to my heart, because as somebody who plays online games for many, many years, the obsolescence of all my work drives me crazy. When a new expansion comes out and all my stuff just becomes garbage. So this is something that in general we have to decide tier by tier, item by item. I think we proved with 1.1 Deeper Depths that we try really hard to respect the work of players previously and not make their gear useless, give them paths to upgrade, give you ways to retain items that meant something to you and power them up or continue them along. So we're always going to try our best to have paths to do that, and make sure the system doesn't punish long-term players. It doesn't make you feel like you wasted all that time. And of course, this is also blockchain, so there's some value tied to those things also. So yeah, I feel it's very important that we set an expectation with people that we will try very hard to not obsolete gear and always give you some benefit to old gear, even if it will sometimes be challenging. I would not want to just be like, sorry guys, new tier, all that stuff you're working on just became useless. That's horrible.
Yeah, I don't think I can add much to that. Respecting the time and effort that our players put into the game is very important for us. It is at our hearts, actually, I think. But at the same time, I mean, let's be honest here. We are committed to make Minds of Dalarnia success for years to come. Like, all of us are hoping, including you guys, that in 5 years this game is still huge. And with that being said, like, this is a long period of time. So the value that you perceive from equipment and stuff can mean that it's, shifting from having like huge in-game impact to be of nostalgic value or collectible. So as Keith said, we will always look into you guys having your most precious equipment being usable in game, and that is something that we will always keep in mind. But hey, let's have that discussion in 5 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point, Manfred. I can't promise that there'll never be a situation where someone feels burned, but I will try very hard to make it not a thing, because there's got to be value in all this time and effort you're putting in.
Well, actually, I wanted to add something. As a gamer, it's always a struggle when you're being, working hard for your equipment, like weeks or months, especially, from the times of old school MMORPG games, when you were, collecting all your armor, and then suddenly when you level up, this armor is kind of useless. but maybe there will be some possibility to make some, kind of legacy system like we have in CCG games, maybe something like, there will be impossible to actually create, for example, copper, iron, and silver and Aussie armor in the future, and those items will remain kind of like collectibles and limited edition ones. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so we kind of did that with 1.1 when we made all the original versions of things a different color. Well, they kept the old color, and then everything has a new color now. And we have added the original tag onto them. The pre-dust upgrades. That we did that for that purpose, and that kind of thing I think is a minimum we will want to try to continue doing. So at least things have aesthetic value. Yeah, I definitely like that approach.
Yeah, great. Oh, nice. So yeah, okay, let's proceed to the one more. Is there a possibility to modify our lands, such as increasing the number of bullrats or specific gems through the use of resources or staking DAR?
Yeah, so staking has been a topic of discussion for a long time. I think everyone wants to add staking, but we have to make sure that it's rewarding and worth doing, and that there's enough features and tech behind it to make it really work. It's obviously like a really big feature, so it's not the highly prioritized. Like, it's not coming that soon. Honestly, it's a ways away. I don't think anybody here would say that it doesn't sound cool. We don't want it, but it's not like right around the corner.
Yeah. What Keith just said. But also to add to that, what I'm doing in the little spare that I have at the moment is really just trying to figure out if there are any cool new things we could do with land in general. So maybe we could implement new land utilities, something a bit outside of the box currently, but that would add value to the game and be of benefit to all of us and simply fun. So I think we can spend some time to think in general about how land works, what land offers, and if there's anything else people could do with land that is interesting and fun and engaging. Yeah, I think that sums it up.
Yeah, actually mentioning fun is very important because, we don't really want everything to become just routine and just become boring. So yeah, it's one of the key aspects of any game because it's the game at the first, and yeah. So yeah, let's proceed to one more. Are there any plans to introduce a more comprehensive mechanism to encourage resource or items burns?
Yeah. So this sort of resource burns, I think, or resource sinks, I think we've talked about a bit already. But item burns in general, we're going to keep on evolving the way crafting works and involving burning resources and items as part of that. I mean, dust is a big part of that too, right? Like, dust is a resource now, and burning an item to create dust. Right now, it's only used in the upgrade process, but there is no hard and fast law that says dust will not be part of crafting other things in the future or various other currency things. So, any way to find more uses for resources and pull them out, any way to find more reasons to destroy items, to craft items only to be destroyed, that's all relevant. We just got to find good ways to fit that into the overall game design.
Yes. I think we touched upon this now a couple of times with recurrent resource sinks and how important it is to have more utility and options for people to use resources, burn them, whatsoever. I think one thing to add to that discussion maybe that is also important to note is that given that our focus is so much on the existing resources and adding value to them, we will not rush forward to introduce any new resources in the short future at least. Like, if we do something in that regard, then for very, very good reasons. But our focus should be on get the utility for the current resources, and we have a couple of them right. So, and once that is done, then expand the economy in that regard. I think that's a healthy approach at the current moment.
Yeah, if there's a new research, it might like Pumpconium or like one of those temporary event holiday research. Oh yeah, that doesn't count in our minds, but a major new resource, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, speaking of Pumpconium, yeah, it was a really great one. So we're very hyped about to see something like this in the future.
Yeah, those event resources are different, right? Because they're not really on the decks. They're not really. It's more just like something to grind to get some rewards. Yeah. One thing I just want to mention because I thought of it while we're talking about crafting items and dust and stuff. Heard from everyone that multi-crafting is something people really want. I could even imagine a craft and instantly dust feature. It's on our list. We know it's a real pain to craft up a bunch of things and all those gas transactions. It's one of those things that's technically tricky because we have to like mint multiple items in a single transaction. You know, I won't get into the weeds with it, but it's not that easy. But we want to do it. Not coming super soon, but we're aware that there's a demand. I would like it a lot, and it's on the list of features that we want to be able to add.
Yeah, cool. That's what's up. So we are actually here for almost an hour, so please tell me if you're up to cover a couple of more questions or we're gonna close this AMA for today.
So I actually have a meeting lined up, so I don't think I can stay with you guys for much longer, but maybe we do one final question.
Yeah, I think one last one would be good.
Okay, so let's take this one. What is your stance on the current state of holos being just rare but featureless NFTs? Do you have any future plans to make them more valuable but add in some functionalities even if they are all small?
All right, I know this is a bit of a controversial one. So yeah, we probably will not add mechanics to holos. There's something that has been discussed a ton. Probably will continue to be discussed. I would not put any like hard statement here, no like never kind of stuff, but it's pretty unlikely. I mean, holos are skins. I think they will have more value as there are more and more multiplayer things where people can see your outfit over time, you know, and they become more valuable in that way. Adding mechanics to holos is a real can of worms, and we'd probably rather find other ways to add more mechanics and features to miners than attach them to holos.
Yeah. I think Keith explained it perfectly. I'm totally on his side here. But with that being said, what I can imagine happening, and please don't take this as a promise, but using holos in a way of a dress code and having like special events here and there, fun stuff that you can, you know, access by having a specific holo, and then the whole group of players is wearing the same holo. Small little things with holos, I can see that happen.
That's definitely interesting. Yes, that's fun.
Yes, like a dress code. It's pretty much our holos are our new dress codes. So we
like a nightclub idea with a certain dress code.
Yes, your secret little nightclub in the satellite launch. Here we go.
Wow, that's what's up. Seriously, it would be a great idea. We will not take this as a promise, but definitely this will be, if this is possible to make, it will be cool. So yeah, that's about it. So I want to thank you, Kid and Manfred, and all the audience who joined us today. We really appreciate your time. And before we officially end this AMA, maybe you want to mention something about upcoming plans or soonest, Manfred or Kid?
Yeah, Keith, feel free. Go
on. Well, actually, one sidebar before I could just do that. I wanted to mention that I want to thank the community, the APEs, for testing, providing so much feedback on testnet regarding multiplayer server. It's been super helpful. We added a little football game in the basement where that actually keeps track of score based on people just doing that anyway down there. So that kind of feedback was great, and we try to respond to it. So first, really appreciate everyone assist on testnet there. It's making the game better, and we'll be continuing to use testnet for all major updates. So this is something that'll just be kind of continuously happening. So yeah.
Yes. In addition to that, maybe two final things. We are quite happy to announce that with the feedback that we received so far on the state of testnet, we will launch the 1.2 update on mainnet on the 23rd of February. So, well, next week. It's already next week. Next week, everyone can enjoy the new features. So hope you guys are going to enjoy it and have fun with it. And in addition to that, we have a little thank you to the community. So after this AMA, Keith will pick like 5 winners from the questions that he liked most. And those 5 people will receive 100 DAR each from us. A small thank you for participating and being so active here. It was a pleasure to hang around with you guys.
Yeah. Let's go! That's a great news.
Yeah, testnet next Thursday. I'm sorry, mainnet next Thursday. It's gonna be awesome. Manfred, can I pick questions that we didn't answer?
Yes, whatever you think are great questions.
I like some we just didn't get to stuff. Not fair. It was like there's all these questions. Some are really good, but we just didn't get to them.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Okay,
Great.
so I think that's it for today.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks everyone for participating. I think that's it for today. And yeah, book your time for 23rd of February. We're going mainnet with the new update. So yeah, thanks everyone and see you around.
Thanks everyone.
Bye everyone.